Well, I was born in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. At the time, it was part of the former Socialistic Republic of Yugoslavia, Federative Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia. And that's where I'm from, Sarajevo, Bosnia, Yugoslavia.
Okay.
I came here as a refugee of the war-torn country. As I said, it was former Yugoslavia, then it disintegrated into different states. And in 1997, I arrived to Dallas, Fort Worth area through Catholic Charities organization. Well, I think I've been an artist ever since. Okay, I remember really this as a kid. I would lay on a couch or like bed, watch the TV. There was a show about an artist professor talking about art, and I would be by myself in the room, lay. I couldn't understand what and why, but the environment where I grew up wasn't that art-prone environment. But I always had that inclination. I wanted to study philosophy and art, but I finished through actually military high school. So, but always wanted to do art. And I guess when I came to the United States of America, I was able to disconnect with the kind of cultural influence of a near family or overall environment. And by being alone, I was able to guide myself towards something I actually wanted to do. It wasn't straight line. It was kind of wiggle. But I wanted to do graphic design. I did study computer science in Chicago in 1999, 2001. Came back to Dallas again, kind of going on and off, as I said. And I wanted to do graphic design. I decided to do graphic design. I went to Brookhaven College. I said, okay, I'm going to take drawing class. I took drawing class. There you go. Professor Don Taylor approached me. He said, do you want to do printmaking? I said, what is printmaking? I had no clue. He said, just take the class. I said, okay. And that's how it happened. And I guess I was relieved. I loved it. And just something since really I was a kiddo, I wanted to do. It's just that sometimes it's not easy. So, and now I went, as I said, Brookhaven College, then I went to Washington University in St. Louis, get my undergrad and graduate degrees, and now I'm back to Dallas, and I'm actively working on my art, having some exhibitions around. I myself am not sure. I've been thinking about it, really. I've been thinking about my style. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people would tell me it's like 4 different people doing 4 different things. I would say maybe rough, thrown by mistakes, and through mistakes trying to find a solution, almost reflecting my life.
Yeah.
Okay, and I do drawings, I love drawings, but I'm not this hyper-rendering type of artist. But through these mistakes, I'm kind of getting something final that I like. I guess really Woody Allen would say, like, in this one of his movies, like, does art reflect life or life reflect art?
Yeah.
Something like that. Say my primary medium is, if I can say, okay, I'm doing silk screen, right? Mm-hmm. But I would say rather not silk screen. That's not something that I would say industrially mass-produced product.
Okay.
because the printmaking is actually the production of multiples. I got drawn to it because of this democratic nature of the media, right? So it's something that in relation maybe to painting, where you have a one single object, in a printmaking, you can make multiples, and they can, as such, they might be able to be more accessible to people. That was some of my naive approaches. But since then, it did leave a kind of undertone, which later on, I was thinking about that, not printmaking as a printmaking technique, which is like etching, intaglio, silkscreen. I'm doing silkscreen now because of the way how it goes, technologically easy executed, can be applied to different surfaces, right? But rather multiplicity and accessibility. Because I was, after my graduate school, I was doing websites as my art, right? So that you still have that concept of matrix, which is, let's say, server that has your files and can be accessed. As you access, you get in the instance, because I studied computer science too. So as you go to web server, the matrix, you get the instance, a print. But everyone on planet Earth can access it and have access to it, right? So I said, that's my printmaking, right? Which is kind of, in the terms of formal, traditional printmaking, is not. But I wasn't drawn to it. I was rather drawn to the ideas, what they represent in relation to the society and our understanding of it. What I'm doing now is, as I said, I'm doing silkscreen because of the possibilities of applying on different surfaces. I'm doing sandbags, because I was in Afghanistan for about 4 or 5 years. And one of my part of the job was to put the sandbags around the buildings, bunkers, and whatnot with the local Afghani labor forces and other labor forces from throughout the world. And when I came back here, I decided to kind of utilize that silkscreen, but not just silkscreen. So that's one thing. Then I'm using these industrially printed mesh banners. So there's this interest of mass-produced project, as I said earlier, so that they also, so I have these multiple directions. So I speak of the story, but then I also address the industrial nature of our present civilization, right? And then kind of also make some circle of presence. I'm trying to utilize the technology. I'm trying to be aware of my time. And I live in 21st century. And sometimes, like let's say I was studying as a formal printmaker, there is a tendency to stay in that media. I'm interested rather in the concepts, in ideas, what they mean and how they reflect. Saying that, that means that my process can be, right? Actually, I was doing artwork for just Facebook. So I do something that can be only viewed on Facebook. And that was my biggest problem, because I didn't know how am I going to move from Facebook to put in a gallery. I cannot, because it's made for Facebook, for the interface of Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's a really being aware of the present, which is 21st century. It's technology in relationship to the historical background of the medias, of the art, and how that reflect into present, and how I, as an artist, utilize it to speak through it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's, after like all these years, I remember when I started some drawings back there, they were kind of dark and violent. But then I was thinking about it, and it's easy to move into that, right? And when I was in Afghanistan, I remember like sitting like and looking, like drinking coffee in the morning, and I'm thinking like, Is there anything else, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting and I'm looking to these sandbags and I see a small flower coming through. And I'm looking at it like, there you go. So you are the answer. You know, life,
Yeah.
the hope, that small one that goes through. So I decided to rather, I'm not ignorant of what life can bring upon us, right? But I want on purpose to focus on us talking, making fun of it, joking, taking pictures of it. And then those positive moments I want to imprint on these sandbags, which actually represent war.
Yeah.
But then on these sandbags, I have these images of relaxed, friendship-oriented gatherings. And or my videos of Afghani local population singing love songs, right? And those, or the pictures of the flowers, those rough Afghani flowers going through these sandbags, right? Trying to break through. All these like signs of hope. And even though they're small and weak, I guess if they were not strong enough, they wouldn't be around. So I'm using it. That's my topic. And I'm trying to address through different poetical means of visual communication. No, though I'm aware of the culture very much, especially in a parallel, because for me, things don't happen just, I just spoke to my friend, life is not black and white, life is gray, right? And I was studying, trying to, I'm an atheist, but I'm very interested in religion because I wanted to understand everything, especially what's happened in my country. Through that, it took me back to the birth period of Christianity, etc., right? And through that, you know, I learned about, of course, Judaism, right, the early over there, and how those things influence each other. If I think, I'm not, now when you mentioned that, I can see that struggle is everywhere.
Yeah.
And through that struggle, we look into hope as a leading light.
Yeah.
How do we interpret that? That's up to civilization and artists of the time and period to find the way out, right? But I can see it actually now when you mentioned that's very, I'm glad you did it. So I have that. That's a search for hope through struggle.
Yeah.
I guess. Something like that. You know, I never been that much color artist, right? I was more feeling artist. And then what comes out of it might have some maybe kind of dark tone in a sense, but through that dark tone, I'm looking for some light. What would the color be? You have two colors, blue and green, I guess. Blue sky and green grass. Sandbags are kind of green. I'm using them because they're military grade sandbags. They kind of, but they use all different, but poetically wise, it's green, it's kind of color of, right? It's a military, but yet it's color of grass, right? But then you have blue sky, right? So maybe those, you can see them actually now in this exhibition that I have with these installation. You really actually can see that now when you mention that, you can see the green sandbags and then you have photographs with the kind of blue tone. Yes. I want actually, you will see actually the one of the works is very colorful. It is actually blue, red, and black. And that's one will be that I plan to share two. One is the photography of that flower I mentioned to you, right? You remember when I mentioned the flower? I took the photograph of that. So that's, and I used that photograph over there for the exhibition at we did at University of Texas, Dallas last year in January. No, I believe 2 years ago. I can't recall now right now. I think 2 years. And now it's in the Latino Cultural Center, part of this Art 214 exhibition.
Okay.
And that's the one photograph that my flower, which I call my little hope, right? And because that's that little flower that's trying to break through these sandbags, which were like eaten by the wind and sun and rain. And then next to it is this concrete block, right, which we usually have around. And the other is actually, the other work is the portrait I did, a friend of mine from Bosnia, because in Afghanistan, about 30% of working force are people from the Balkans, right? I wasn't aware of it. So my friend Zoran Vuleta, he was part of the team over there, working for the government through this company, Fluor. And I was doing portraiture of people there. So I did his portrait. And that work, I really love that work because of what it means. Him is my friend. But also it's a story of traveling from all these different corners to somewhere else, right? And that's the story of travel. That is actually interesting media because I was practicing trade, trying to find some new approach of different utilization of silk screen and some type of so-called calligraph, which I really like to do, but I was trying to combine them, plus with intaglio. So that piece, that's a colorful piece, you will see actually. And that speaks of that journey with the hope. I guess we all travel for hope.
Yeah. And our last question is, what is something you want viewers to know or take away from your artwork?
Try be better than what you are at the moment. That's it. At least a little. That's pretty. We all do our best in life, and as I said, it's a struggle, and we try to make our best. Right? And I hope that with my work, I can just, like a balloon, push it a little bit. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Goran.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.